Okay, bow selection. What do you want to do? And how do you want to use the bow? And what's it for? And these are the 4 bows that I currently have here. This is my Mongolian bow. This bow here is about the same size as this bow, and they're both 40 to 45 pound. But on the bow scale, they read about 39. I think this one was 43. So, but this one here, extremely light. Pick it up and won't have any stress at all. This one here, a lot heavier. It's a lot more material on it too. You're gonna have this. You're gonna have the pig skin on it. I should have got one with snake skin instead, but I didn't. Snakes are kind of freaky. Anyway, this has got a lot of material here, going all the way up to here. It's a lot thicker. You have these 2 arrow, or excuse me, string guides on the back. They don't slap against the limb. Okay, so, which is a good thing. Look right here, you got plenty of space. And I like the bow. This is the one with the thicker string, and you can really tell if I put the 2 strings together. This one here is a lot thicker than this one. And right now I have knock points on it. I'm gonna take those off. I thought it'd be cool to have them on there. Did they serve a specific function? But for bows like this, no, they don't. I mean, there's a self-made knock point right here on the Odin Sun, if you will. I use it for that. I mean, that's what it is there for. I don't put the arrow here and shoot it off the middle of the bow. That's not how that works. For me, anyway. Okay, so from left to right, I have the Mongolian horse bow. Focus, thank you. This will be the laminated fiberglass bamboo recurve. And it does really well. I like that. It's accurate. This one with the medieval arrows, I've shot it and I've posted videos of it before. Not terrible. I like it. But, you know, it's more of an area effect weapon. It's not so much as pinpoint. But you got to get to, I got to find the right arrow for that. It's like any gun you get. It'll fire certain types of ammo really well, and it'll not fire so well on other types of ammunition. So it's pretty much the same thing with a bow. You got to find a good arrow for the match. And I think the bamboo works really well for this. The target arrow's not terrible. Um, the medieval armor piercing, if you will, definitely have not really tried. I've only fired 2 arrows out of that. So I'm going to have to fire those arrows 10 times each off of this bow to see if there's any good rhythm. That's the thing about when you're shooting and you want to get really good, you're going to fire 100 to 300 arrows a day over the period of time. You're talking about arm fatigue from pulling back that string and holding onto the bow. And, you know, that's one of the things. Lots of practice with one bow. You look at these 4 bows here. How do you have time for practice for all these? Well, I don't. So I only take, yesterday I took this one out and I shot probably about 60 arrows off of it in a short period of time. It's the same arrows over and over again. So I had 60 shots off of this bow at least. And I'll post a little bit of that video up there because this is the learning process when you get a new bow or you shoot a bow for the first time. And because I've shot it in the house, short range, at the target, and it was just, you know, really, really simple. I liked what I was feeling when you pick up the bow, you start pulling back the string, you put the arrow in there, and you're working it. You get a good feeling where you don't. Okay, so I'm going to go to a bad product here real quick. This bow here has a bent, and you can see it, a bent riser. And this was one I thought I'd just be stuck with. I wanted that one, and I wanted it to work well, and I also have knock points off there, which I don't care. I'm not going to use this bow. It is, you know, damaged in shipping, or it was just a bad product off the assembly line. We won't call it. It's a takedown recurve, and it's just I probably could get another riser, which there are just risers you can get. And for those of you who don't know, this is the riser. This is where the limbs would attach. These are the limbs. So when you look at these, you think, wow, that's really cool. I like the design, the cutouts. It looks really aesthetically pleasing. You know, you put your hand on it's got a good grip. I like the way the grip feels, but you're shooting off of the other side of the limb, or you're shooting cockeyed if you're shooting off the left side, which a right-handed shooter would shoot off the left side, a left-handed shooter would shoot off the other side. So it's confusing. You think, well, maybe if I put an arrow rest over here, it'll work. Then, you know, you come to find out it's still not totally lined up. I mean, I could move the string off of the center point and be kind of, you know, half-assed over the right side of the, or left side of the limb. But when you pull your string back, I mean, it'll rest finally. It'll come back to center into the string guide, if you will, on the limb. And so, as this one did. So that really doesn't work. Or I could twist, well, as I'm holding the bow, I could twist the limb as I have the string back, and that causes the string to hit above or just below my elbow and in front of the arm guard. So that's a double negative because that'll cause all kinds of conundrum. So I didn't really, I did email them, didn't hear answer back. I didn't contact Amazon. Amazon's where I bought it from, so that could be where the issue is. It could have been, you know, sitting on top of something, weighted on top of it, and caused it to bend, or it could have come off the assembly line like that. I don't know, and I don't know that I can correct it because I did put it in a vise and try to bend it back, and it just no, that was not going to happen. I need to heat it up and everything, and there's going to be a point of zero perfection, and I'm not going to get to it. So the top archery 50, it's a 45 pound, 56 inch. Yeah, 56 inch, 45. Definitely, you know, did not work out for me. So, I mean, and I switched the limbs, top to bottom, bottom to top, you know, tried to figure it out. Still nothing. I mean, literally. So people say, well, you got the limbs upside down. No, I switched them out and moved them, and still the same. It's the riser's bent. You can visibly see that. I mean, I don't know for sure if you can, but I can, and that's the bottom line. So, plus, I know I fired this one, and it just did not work out well. So, Odinson archery bow here, great option. $86, taxes and shipping, sent to my door. I did have to wait 4 weeks for it. I ordered it on May 4th, and I got it on June 1st. And so I've had it for about, it's the 10th, so I've had it for 9 days. And I like it. It seems to be pretty solid for a PVC bow. And, it's short, it's compact, it's light. It's light like this one. This one is like less than a pound. I would say that's probably roughly about right the same as that. Maybe this is a pound, maybe a little bit more than a pound. I haven't measured them side by side. I will probably at some other point because that's going to be a factor also. You get a long bow or a thicker bow like this, and you're going to have fatigue issues carrying it around at some point, like a compound bow or a crossbow. Crossbows are a big thick chunk of aluminum and wood and plastic, and believe me, they're a lot heavier. You'll switch back to this if you ever go compound bow or crossbow. You'll switch back to that easy. But I do have it in store for me to get a couple more bows. I will get a longbow and a war bow or a Welsh bow, and I will do some videos on that as well. So, but that's in the near future. Summer's about to kick in. It's still spring. So, but remind yourself when you go to get a bow, look at I mean, a takedown recurve is awesome. They can be really good. I just got not a good one off the get. PVC bows, yes, from the right person, they're going to be great. And Odinson Archery, I'm telling you, that's extremely budget friendly, is how I'll put that. I mean, you're not going to go out and get a cheap bow and get what you pay for. You're going to go out and get an Odinson Archery bow, this Assassin's bow that I have here, and you're going to be like, wow, this thing will work quite well. And yeah, there are some issues with defects and stuff along the way, but it would be no different than me having a wooden bow and all of a sudden it starts warping because of weather. I mean, it went from cold to hot. It was kind of chilly at the 1st of May, and it was like 90-degree weather for 2 or 3 days in a row, and then it went down to like 60s. So weather plays a part in how a bow and or material reacts. Um, you notice that sometimes your doors they shut really well when you walk out, and then when the summer kicks in, and all of a sudden everything kind of stretches out and expands, and it's a little looser than what it was normally before in the wintertime. So this is the thing. A lot of people don't put a lot of the common sense stuff into play. So knowing what type of material you want, because this is a laminated PVC, or rather bamboo and fiberglass. Okay, this is pigskin covered wood. All right. I don't know. It does not specify what kind of wood it is. And I'm going to have to take some glue and glue that on there because it's starting to come off because of the condensation, heat, and humidity. This is a PVC bow, and I like the red string, blood red string, kind of, sort of. So, I like this. It's, like I said, light, and it's very durable. And if you get the right kind of bow for the takedowns or any kind of recurve with a thick wood riser in the middle, that can be a smooth spot for you or a sweet spot for you. You can really get into your archery game more with the right equipment. And any other archer would tell you the same thing. Knowing the right kind of equipment, what you want, how you want your bow to perform, what are you doing with it? So when you go to choose a bow, think about what you're doing with it. You can go on Amazon. These three right here, these two here, and this one here, all Amazon. Okay. This one I went and I seen a guy on YouTube that fires these, and he suggested them. So I went to the website. I seen, wow, that's nice. Assassin's bow. Ooh, that sounds cool. So I got it. So Max Tactical Archery. Thanks for the heads up on that, and I'll put you down there in the link in the description to your channel. I want people to know you and see what you do with bows, because that's really good. I mean, I'm more of I want to be accurate, pinpoint, and try and get to the sweet spot of shooting. But what he does in firing 10 arrows in 10 seconds kind of thing, it's crazy fast, and I like it. Combat archery at its very best. So that's the thing about some of these archers out there who fast fire bows or arrows like that is just incredible, incredible skill. And I'll drill with that and try to get there. But right now, we're just shooting arrows, and we are testing bows and equipment and making sure that we have a good time. So I got a third part coming up here. Target acquisition. I will be doing a little bit of mathematics and ballistics on grainage, weights, type of arrows, etc., and so forth and so on. Just stay tuned. We got a lot more coming. The target acquisition will be part 3. This is part 1. So you guys stay safe, stay alive, and remember, you're only as good as your equipment. And if you keep your equipment up and clean and pristine. So we'll see you again on the next one. So this is arrow selection. This will be part 1. These are all the carbon arrows I have. Okay, so I'm going to go down start from this end. This is the Cryptos. I get these at Walmart. and I normally buy 2 at a time when I go, kind of like in a disciplinary way. But I get an odd number because they may only have one. So I have 61 carbon arrows right now. So those 6 are with the whistling broadheads, and that one broke off yesterday. Focus, focus. And so I'll still use that. Um, it'll be good for penetrating purposes. See if okay, so if you're in the field, you break something, you only have that one. Can it still be used? So that'll be a good exercise or experiment. These are the ones that are actually really accurate. These are carbon arrows, and I don't know too much about them. 7E or is that ZE? I can't focus. Okay, so yeah, it says flex before you fire. It means you check those every single time, which I did that yesterday. Those are the needlepoint bodkin types, the screw-in type. So they're not accurate as far as the actual bodkin types because the bodkins are really kind of lumbersome, dull with a fine point. They're not really sharp. These have sharper edges, and I'm gonna have to take a file down and rough these because some of them are roughed up because they've been um, used. I don't think I've even fired that one. So I know that I fired 4 of these. The other 2 I haven't fired. I have to figure it out. It's probably this one. So, or it might be all 3 of them. I may have only fired, but I definitely fired this one, and then this one's bent, if you can see that. But like I said, it's always good to understand your arrow's capability, especially if you get a little bit damaged. Even though the shaft is good, the arrowhead itself is a little wonky, and you got to sit there and figure it out in the field. Maybe you only took a couple arrows because you're only going after one target. As an example, if you're hunting a deer, you don't take 61 arrows like I have here. So, I have a lot to go through yet. But these are the field points that I got with the recurve bow that weighs less than a pound. And these are really inaccurate. There's like one that's true, the other 5 fly left or right or up or down. And so I'm going to have to really go over and mark these the next time out. And I'll use the actual bow it came with for that purpose instead of the Odinson Archery recurve that I have. I think it would be a good test to understand the aerodynamics or abilities when it comes to getting a package deal because they don't look uneven. They look straight, but they don't act like it. All right, so these are the Hunter um, Bloodsport arrows I got from Walmart in a 6-pack. I put 125 grain, what I call cutters, they're broadheads, and I do believe these are 30 inches long. Could be 31s. But I haven't shot these yet, except for at close range, indoor at a target, and they penetrate very deeply. And it's a real pain to pull them out. So when I get to 3D target, I'll use those on that, but I'll probably upgrade that to the compound bow because that's really where I'm going to be doing my putting food on the table. But I'm also going to be using the recurve bows and the medieval bows and the Odinson PVC bow to show you that it can be done 40 pounds and up quite easily to, provide sustenance for you in that time of need. All right, so these are mossy oaks. I got needlepoint bodkins on there. These are also mossy oaks, needlepoint bodkins. These are Cryptos, needlepoint bodkins also on that. These are very expensive. They run about $10 a piece. These are Carbon Express. They get these at Walmart as well. I put 150 grain greenies on there, so the cutters. So I want to check those out. I do believe those are 30 inches long. I could be wrong. It might be 31s. They really don't say on here. But I'm gonna be making more quivers, which I'm finished one quiver. I just have to put the strap on it and some decorations, and I'm going to display that in a video upcoming. But understanding your arrows. What do you want? What are you trying to do? Are you shooting targets at distance for sport, or are you shooting for competition? Field points are normally where you go for competition. These are field points, but these are not the field points you would use. Those are just brass field points. They're not really any good for anything except for practice, and that's what these arrows are really for. Those 6 arrows are just for practice. Um, and they don't do really well. They would make you more frustrated and you'll want to give up. So be very careful on your selection of arrows. These carbon arrows here seem to be very, very accurate. I mean, they're very stable. They don't drop. They don't. Once I fire it, it's pretty much where I aim at. The impact, it just depends upon if there's a little bit of wind, heat going in and out of shade. Those types of things can affect a projectile really, really severely, throwing it off the point of aim and creating a new point of impact. So you just got to really know your surroundings, your environment. Going onward, I got these arrows. Okay, those 4 or 6 arrows have these broadheads on there. They're green. I could have got blue or red, but I chose the green. These are mossy oak, mossy oak, mossy oak, mossy oak, but you'll look at the nocks on these. They're different. So they're actually different lengths. And I haven't fired those yet. I haven't fired these. These are Wolverine Hunter 55 to 70. And they're 31. I do believe they're 31s. You got the Kryptos, 2 arrows with 2 green cutters on there, 150 grain. I've got 7 arrows here. They're all Kryptos. And these have the actual lengths on them. These are 29s. So all 7 of those are 29. They're all the same. This is the one thing about having mixed arrows. I got to have only what I'm wanting to fire for if I go hunting, if I go eradication of varmints, which, in case you haven't heard, just about every county in the state of Indiana has bobcat sightings. We know for a fact there's more than bobcats. We do actually have cougars. DNR put them in here to help eradicate the deer problem not long ago, within the last 30 years. And that's becoming an issue because I have family or extended family or friends of family that have livestock, and they live on the outskirts of town, can't use a gun because they're within the city limits. So they'll say, hey, Jim, why don't you come and knock off a few of these for me if you can find any? So coyotes I've been on before and taken some of those, but cougars and bobcats, I've heard them, but you really don't get close enough. I mean, I think they got that sense that say, oh, well, here comes some a-hole, so we got to get out of here. And I use descenting and I use other things. And when you're using archery, you don't have any of the gun oil or anything else going on. So you should be able to get into getting as close as you can. I mean, I get really close to deer. I don't even like hunting deer. I don't hunt deer. I'm more of a varmint eradication specialist, if you will. And that's what I like doing as far as helping the people who have livestock. You have a lot of people with goats here now. You have a lot of people with llamas or llama type, whatever those things are. And they harvest mostly the wool from them, and they'll have 2 to 4 to 6 of each of the animals as far as those llama looking things. I can't think of the name of them. As soon as I drive by, I remember what they're called, or I see them out in the country. Because I mean, if I were to walk right now, it'd take me 20 minutes to get to the edge of, well, not even that, probably about 15 minutes to get to the edge of the town, and that would be country from there on out. Cornfields, soybean fields, or no-till fields, whichever the case may be. But the thing about walking from here to there is I'm going to run into somebody's loose pit bull, and then I'm gonna have an issue with that. There's been a lot of dogs running around off the leash or out of the yard and causing all kinds of havoc. So without saying too much, yeah, that becomes a hairy situation. Okay, so I'm gonna go to the other side of the bed. This is a full size bed, by the way. So it's if I had a king or queen, I'd probably be able to get all of them on there. Okay, so these are black arrows, which I got from China. I wanted specifically black. I'll put it in the black quiver. Those are 150 grain broadheads. These are razor sharp. I think these are Terminators. I can't remember exactly which ones these are, but they're on the black ones as well. And there's 6 of those there. And those are 4. And these 2 over here, I fired these heads at, and they hit off target. These arrows, these broadheads catch a lot of wind. So it's going to be a process to get those cold steel polymers to actually get into the target area. I mean, they will, and they will cut deep. Those are extremely sharp for polymer. I got some cryptos over here. These are 31s, I do believe. Yeah, these are 31s. And those 2 have the 150 grain broadheads on there as well. The greenies. And those are my carbon arrows. And of course, getting back to these 4 here, those are, I have not fired these, and I have not fired these. I've only fired these 2 out of the black ones. So what I'm going to do is I get that 3D target and set it up and put that to test and see if I can get good accuracy in the boiler room. I'm going to be firing some of those as well. There's my target stand with a quiver on it. And of course, I make my own quivers right now. So I'm in the process of doing some prototypes, seeing what I like to do, embellishments, so on and so forth. And I want to get into making that product so that way you don't have to. And because I see some of them that are really dolled up, and they run for about $200 to $300 for just a quiver. I imagine I can probably cut that in half with my expenses. So, or at least make it cheap enough to where it's more desirable to have. So these are the carbon arrows. I'm going to come back with the wooden arrows I have. These are 61 arrows. Now, like I said, sometimes I go to Walmart and I'll buy 2 of something. And if they don't have 2 of something, which I'm the reason why they had to restock their arrows, so they told me. So, I ended up getting just 1 of something, so that's why I have an odd number. So it could have been a Cryptos, it could have been a Mossy Oak, something like that. I don't know. But it's probably one of these Cryptos right here. I have 7 of those, so that's probably what it is. So anyway, I'll be back with more. Okay, so these are all of my arrows. There's a total of 85 arrows altogether. And this is a first prototype quiver. I'll be redoing the bottom on this one. I'll probably dye it and make it some funky mahogany blend. This is the one I'm doing now. It's all black. I'll redo this stitching here. It's all jumbled up, so I'll take all this out, redo that, and then put a strap on it. Pretty much like this. This is a belt, a cheap belt I got at Walmart, and it's real nice leather, so perfect for this. But I'll probably put rivets on this instead of to tie black ones now, and try and secure it that way, which I'll do the same thing for this one. This is a an nylon one I get. I put my little Velcro patch on there or whatever. I like that. It's really good. This one here has the medieval points arrows, wooden ones. And I like this. This is a hip quiver. So I'm going to give that a go and see how I like that in the exercise. These arrows here are, okay, this one broke. And I've done a video on this, but I hit it with another arrow and of the same kind. And it's kind of tore it up. So when you flex this, you can hear it, and you can also see it wanting to come apart. So what I'll do is I'll put this one in at an angle like so, and I'll put it in by hand, and I'll try and fire some cutters at it and see if I can get it to split. Okay, so these are the bamboo ones. I'm going to take this one out and fire at distance here in the next day or two. We're still under air quality crap from the Canadian wildfires, so I don't know how it's funneling. We're straight down into Indiana, but it is. So we're under air quality, especially this afternoon. So limited outdoor activity at that point. If you want to, most people will ignore it because that's the way things are. Different broadheads on here. Medieval. I got two of these. I like these. One of them I sharpened. The other one I kept as I got it. This rope cutter here, I'm going to have to get a taunt system because you cannot, and I'll go into bigger detail here in a future video on how to get that to work. You cannot take this and just throw it at a rope without having it taut or tight, weighted down, so otherwise it won't cut it. But I got to really sharpen this down, and I've got files now for that. This is a broadhead cutter type. This one broke. So what I'll probably do in shipping, and I put glue in there, what I'll probably do is secure my hand and then fire this and see if it'll fire. And if it sticks in the target, then I'll throw other arrows at it and see if I can get it to split. It's bamboo. These are bamboo. So, yeah, 85 arrows. Like I said, these are the medieval broadhead types. And I like these. These will penetrate armor, medieval type armor. On a real powerful bow, like a 60-pound or better, they might penetrate soft body armor. They do have a fine point. The needlepoint bodkins types, they're not actual bodkins, but they're close. That one won't penetrate armor. That's the one that's bent. Okay, that one's all ate up from... This actually hit the table. But these will penetrate, and I'll sharpen the tip down on this. These will penetrate armor and soft body armor, because these they're rated for, I do believe, 70-pound. So that's what their strength is. That's why that spine is so thick in the middle, and that's what these arrows are designed to do, especially if they're bodkin types or those medieval kind with a very, very fine to sharp point. You'll get quite a bit of penetration on those, or you should, especially when it comes to armor plate, especially medieval style. It's enough to make them feel the pain of it. It won't penetrate real deep, but they'll feel that pinch, and it'll take them out of the fight for a second, or it might open up a new avenue of attack on your enemy, and then you can finish them off, if you will. So, that's medieval combat. That's the way it is. It is very, very gruesome and gory and very barbaric, but that's the way it is. Okay, so these are field points, target practice. And that's what I'm going to use them for on a medieval bow. I actually widened the nocks a little bit because they wouldn't fit around that thick-ass string on the Mongolian bow that I have. So I'm going to probably look at getting a different string for that, but for right now, I'm going to use those, and those will end up breaking eventually because the wooden ones aren't meant to last. Carbon fiber is meant to last. The bamboo, I'm not sure about. They seem to be pretty solid because I fired this one and I fired these two, but I've not fired the other three. So this one here, this is the one that came all beat up. Well, not beat up. This is straight from the forge. It doesn't have any sharpness to it at all. It's the peen front. It's not something that would penetrate greatly, as opposed to the one I sharpened and put a little bit more of an edge on, and I can do better. But I just, this is for the fact of, okay, so if we get a ballistic dummy up here and get that done, because that's a really sticky situation. You stick it out in that sun in the Indiana heat, it's going to melt quickly. So I'm going to have to keep that under cold wraps and take it out and shoot it and go from there, because it's going to, I mean, I'll have to do that at like 6 o'clock in the morning before the sun is even a factor. So, and hopefully on an overcast day, but we'll see how it goes. We'll get into that when I can actually get one ordered. With your supported channel, it will happen a lot faster. Look for the links below, and I'll point you guys in the right direction. But do you want to shoot targets? Is that what you're really into? Your backyard targets? Those are really good for that. 40 to 45 pound, maybe a 30-pound pole bow. These are specialty type arrows, arrowheads. So that's not good for target practice. But you know, it's fun. The penetrators, of course, or the alleged armor piercing. We're gonna have to try that out. I do have armor. I do have chainmail. I fired at some of it in one of the other videos. That's where I bent one of the carbon fiber. That carbon fiber that I pulled out was bent. That's how that bent. It's shooting at a dragon scale, which I made. And I'm gonna have to do a video showing you that I can do that. There's a lot of people say when I put my chainmail on years ago when I made it, people are like, "No, you bought that. You didn't make it." And I was like, "No, I went to Gilman's and got the wire and made coils and showed them how I did it, and they still couldn't believe it." And it's just like, well, whatever. But quivers, that was I think 20 or 25. That was 15, I do believe. And I'll have to go over the cost of all that and all that. The belt was like, I don't know, 10, maybe $9 at Walmart. And it's one of those George belts. And it was just a plain Jane thing. And I didn't really have a strap. I do have a strap for the black one. I just haven't put it on yet, but I didn't have a strap for that one. And so I looked at that belt and I said, I got a lot of belts up there. So, yeah, I decided to sacrifice that one. And like I said, I'll make this mahogany. I'll dye this. I just got that one color. I was going to get black and black or green and black, but I thought, well, let's go ahead and do this so that way I can dye it my own color and do some, funky mahogany burst on it or something. So this is why it's not really tied off and complete. So I'm going to undo that and redo it and come back to you on the video with that one to show you the finished process or the finished product as well. Okay, so when you look at these two, I took a lot more off the top. This is more, so I may do something like that. But I like the way it works. It'll hold the arrows just fine. And I could put more in this one, which I probably will because I really packed those two. But anyway, those 6 right there are normally the ones I take out and fire. They're the whistling broadheads and the Bakken types. And these are my hunting arrows, and these are my hunting arrows for vermin and other such animals. If I go hunting at all, the hunting part is like I don't hunt deer unless I have to. It's the only food source there is, and by that point, a lot of people will be hunting deer. So it'll be a really sticky situation all the way around. This one has an embellishment on there, if you will. I don't know if I'm going to keep that on there or what. I like the brass, but I prefer black. So I may drill these out and put the black ones in there. I don't know yet. But comes with a nice clip to put on your belt. And it is pretty functional that way. So we'll see how it goes. All right. Arrow selection, you got to know what you want to do with them. Are you hunting? Or you want to pierce armor? You want to shoot targets? Or do you have a specialty? Okay, remember, this one here, if your drawbridge on this castle you're besieging is supported by a rope instead of a chain, you can get yourself a gang of archers with these on there and take that drawbridge down because it'll lose its support. The weight of the drawbridge will help to snap the rope. It'll be taut enough to where you can gain access, if you will. Fire basket. like I said, I want to launch this up. This will probably be sacrificed. Launch this up as high as I can get it and see how far it'll go and how it flies. And there's about 400 meters for me to do that, where I'm going to be doing it at. So that should be more than enough room. So it'll be an early morning thing at the local racetrack where I have permission to go and shoot arrows. They're nice people. So there you are. Know what you want to do with them. That's the thing. Are you just target practice? Do you want to go into competition? I do not have any competition arrows. I may have to get me some for the cause and actual bare bow setup. So that way I can go out and show you pinpoint accuracy, because some of these arrows are going to come to you a little bit warped or broken, like that one, specifically that one. Or they're going to break on you when they contact something hard. So you got to know what your arrow is going to be doing. You got to know how they're going to react when they hit the target, or they're going to be salvageable at that point. So it would be neat to know that. There are tons of videos out there that can help you with that. There are tons of videos that specify specific types of arrows and what they're doing and how you can do well in firing those arrows as far as keeping them on target, making solid contact. Penetration is not a thing with these. They'll penetrate maybe about that far into the target. And I'll put them on a 3D target to show you that they're not good for hunting. But if that's the only thing you got, you're going to have to push it up to 60 pounds in order for them to have the velocity to penetrate deeper. But I'm shooting right around 45 pounds. I will get another Odinson archery bow, 60 to whatever can be mustered, just for the cause. Actually, I'm going to order 2 more bows from Odinson Archery. I'm going to get that hunter pack. And then I'm going to order the Woodland Assassin here shortly. So that'll be coming here. And there's a backlog on his work for about 6 to 8 weeks now. So I'll have to wait about 2 months for anything or longer, which I'm okay with because I'll have plenty to do, obviously, until that point. So you guys have a good day. Ask questions. Let me know if you have any specific inquiries on certain types of bows, broadheads, arrows, types of shafts, aluminum. I don't have any aluminum. I just have all carbon and wooden and bamboo. So I don't know what the wood composition of that is. It doesn't specify. It just says wooden, medieval style, which I do like the fletchings. I do, and the nocks in the way it's all supported and very, very sturdy. Okay. So stay tuned for more. We got a lot more coming for you. This is your arrows and ideas of arrow selection.